Kim and Craig's marriage may have been hasty, but it proved to be surprisingly strong. They fell in love during college and tied the knot in their 3rd year. Together, they endured poverty and other hardships, but they eventually bounced back and achieved financial stability. They raised a daughter and a son, and while their love may have cooled over the years, they still shared a bond of respect and common interests. This is no little feat, as many couples experience a similar evolution in their relationship. However, a 3rd person entered the picture when a new employee at Kim's office began showing his attention to her. Although she had never been one for empty flirtations, Kim found herself attracted to Danny. They became lovers after some time, despite the age difference of 7 years. The woman noticeably blossomed, began to care more carefully for herself, going to beauty salons. Husband and children were happy about such things, but they did not realize that she was doing it not for them. Kim did not know how long her affair with Danny would last or how it would end, but she did not concern herself with those thoughts. She simply lived at the moment and enjoyed the newfound attention and affection. Then Danny's wife discovered their relationship and caused a scene. Soon Craig learned of the affair as well. Surprisingly, he did not react with jealousy or anger. Instead, he chose to distance himself from Kim and Danny's drama, pretending as if his wife was no longer a part of his life. However, the stress took a toll on his health. One day, Craig suffered a stroke. The doctors were able to bring him back from the brink of death, but it was only the beginning of his suffering. The right side of his body hardly obeyed him. He spoke with difficulty, and he swallowed his words. The doctors warned his wife that even if he recovered, it was not certain that he would be quick or complete. More importantly, he should not worry. Thus began another difficult and lengthy period in the family's life. It did not promise any light at the end of the dark tunnel, but surprisingly, it was during this incredibly tough time that Kim realized how much she valued Craig. She remembered their youthful romantic times, his courtship, their dates, and the poor beginning of their family life. Back then, she was ready to cry from despair due to a lack of money and constantly sick children. But her husband hugged her in the evenings, held her tightly and said, "Don't worry, everything will be all right. We will make it through together." And she immediately calmed down. His words instilled hope in her. Kim immediately broke up with Danny when her husband fell ill. He also realized that there was no future for their relationship. The lovers managed to overcome their destructive passion, and Danny's wife even insisted that he change his job, which led to them stopping seeing each other. Now Kim is focusing all her energy on helping her husband Craig recover. Her 18-year-old daughter hardly speaks to her, and her son accused her of being responsible for their father's illness. Then a real disaster struck. Although there were still small signs of progress in Craig's recovery, he suddenly felt unwell one day when Kim went to the store for just half an hour. When she returned, he was unconscious. Despite the doctor's best efforts, they were unable to save him, as he had suffered a heart attack and his weakened body could not withstand a second blow. 2 months after the funeral, the daughter left for another city to her university. The son used to visit before, but after their father's death, he hasn't shown up at all. Kim, once a flourishing woman in her 40s, noticeably grew thin and aged. Every day she mechanically goes to work, performs her tasks mechanically, and returns to her empty house in the same manner. Kim doesn't know how to snap out of it and come to her senses. However, one thing is clear to her. You shouldn't betray the people who love you. Fate always comes back like a boomerang. But many of us start to understand this too late.